Hello guys, in this video we're going to take a look at using the file system module inside Node.js to be able to read files. And I'm gonna be using Node as a build engine inside Sublime Text for this. So if you can see, if I say console.log hello and then hit Ctrl Shift B, I'm gonna build the application and I will get the output down here in the console. Alright, you can follow along, it's just the normal Node app as well if you want to do it that way, but this way it's easier for me. So let's get started. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at using the file system, as I said, to read files on your computer with Node. We're gonna take a look at doing this sync way, async way, and also sync way with a callback function. Okay, and to do this we're gonna use the file system module from Node. So let's get started. I'm just gonna say variable fs equals to require the file system module from Node. And then let's just add some comments here. Let's say sync. So we're gonna start with the sync function of reading files on your computer. So we're gonna say yes to be able to read a simple file is, let's save the output to a variable called data. And we're gonna say fs.read file sync. And we're gonna just pass an argument here of the file we want to be able to read. So let's say we want to read a file called index.html. If I run this, we're gonna get an error because of course this file does not exist. So it's gonna go up here and create the file, and let's save it as index.html, and let's just say create a div and add some content inside the file. Open up app.js. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna console.log the data variable to get the data out. Now, as you can see, we're just getting a bunch of binary numbers. That's because we're not passing the second argument right here of the encoding. All right, so we're gonna set the encoding here to UTF-8, which gonna make it possible for us to read the content of the variable data, okay, of the file. So now, as you can see, when I run the program, we're getting the content here and console.logging it. So this is the sync way of reading files with the file system module. And this way the function waits to process further code until the file has been read. Alright, so as you can see, if I say console.log down here, hello, it's gonna be after the data has been logged, okay? As you can see right here. We're getting the data first from the file, which is what we want, and then we're getting hello further down here. So the program stops executing further code until this content has been read from this file. All right. Next up, we're gonna take a look at reading files the async way. What's gonna happen now is we're gonna read the file, and then we're gonna provide a callback. And opposite to doing it this way, the program will continue executing code below what we're gonna do here. All right, so it won't wait until the file is actually read. So to do this, what we're gonna say is we're gonna say fs and then just read file like that. Once again, we're gonna pass in an argument of the file we want to read, which is index.html, the encoding, which is UTF-8, and then let's just pass the callback function right in here, like that. We're gonna pass two arguments, error and data, so we can process some error handling if we have to. So we're gonna say now, yes, let's say if error, let's just throw the error so we can see it, and then console.log data. I'm just gonna go up here and comment out this because we don't want to see the data in the console 2 times. And let's try to run this. And as you can see, we're getting the file as well, the content of the file right here. Now let's say I wanted to do like I did right here with the read file sync, but with the read file, and maybe let's say variable text equals to fs read file. Remove this, and then console.log text down here, run it. We're gonna get undefined. That's because the file has not been read yet before we console.log the text. All right. So that's what makes the read file function async. All right. I'm just gonna comment this one out here so we can take a look at the third example, where we're gonna create an async function like this one with a separate callback function. So we're gonna read the file and then provide a separate callback function, which can then process the data from the file we have just read. All right. So let's just add a comment here. Async with a separate callback. Let's call it. And we're gonna declare a function. Let's call it function read file. Let's pass a callback. Just like that, nothing more. Then we're gonna say fs read file. So just like we did above with the async function. Pass in again argument, pass in again encoding UTF-8, so we're not just getting the binary because it's pretty hard to read. And once again, let's add a callback function, error data. Oops. And let's say once again, if error, let's just throw the error. Oh, sorry, let's do like this instead. If we get an error, let's return the callback function, which we're gonna create in just a minute. And let's pass the error to the callback function. That's a better way to do it. And then if no error, let's just say callback. The first argument of the callback is gonna be false in that case, because the first argument of the callback is the error, and if no error has happened, we can just pass back the result. So data, which we're getting from the file right here, which is the encoded content of the file. All right. So we got the read file function ready here. So what we can do now is we can run the actual function. So let's just run read file, pass the callback function right here, and as I said, we're getting the error and the data. And now let's just console.log the data. So now we actually get the read file async function with a separate callback down here. All right. Maybe we should name this something else than the standard read file. We can call this open file instead, just to not mix these two together. And let's run now and see what we got. And as you can see as well, now we're getting the content of the file right here, which is what we want. So that's how you can use the file system module in Node.js to read data from a file, sync, async, and as well as async with a separate callback function.